Ellie from the Dark Imp, helping parents reclaim family time by playing board games together. Today I'm going to share with you 3 really light games for lockdown. So these are games where it's all about having fun and nobody's going to take the outcome too seriously. Let's start with Rhino Hero. This is a brilliant game. It's so easy to explain, and to get playing you're going to want to play it again and again. It's a dexterity game in which you start on the table with the ground card, and you can have it on the easy side or the trickier side, and you'll place that on the table. Each player gets a certain number of roof tiles, and then there are wall tiles available for anyone to take on their turn. So what you're going to do during the game is you're going to build up on these. You see, on each tile, on the roof tiles and the ground tile, there are these L-shaped icons, and those show you where to put the walls. So you're going to place the walls on top, as far as possible, on top of those icons. And then on your turn, you're going to place some walls on the top of the previous card, and you're going to choose one of the roof cards from your hand. You start with 7 to place on top, and then according to what's on top, the next player has to look at where the arrows are, where the chevrons are, and place more walls. That wall's upside down, but never mind. Place more walls on. It's quite hard to do it holding like this. Place more walls on top. Done it. And then place one of their roof tiles, which again, if you put it the right way up, that's a ×2, has some chevrons, or 1 chevron, like this one does, to show you where you're going to put your next card. Oh, throwing things on the floor. Of course, the idea of the game is that you're going to try and get all of your roof tiles out before the tower collapses. If you manage to get all your roof tiles out, then you're going to be the champion. But it's slightly more complicated than that. Of course, if you knock down the tower on your turn, you're going to lose the game. So either somebody wins the game or somebody loses the game. It's very wobbly, this tower. It's a bit disconcerting. There's a little twist. It's called Rhino Hero because there's a rhino that wants to climb up this tower. On these tiles, these roof tiles have different. It's quite fun trying to do this holding this. These roof tiles have different things. So whatever is on the roof tile, so the roof tiles have different actions. This roof tile, for example, has a rhino on it. So when you place this, then the rhino moves. The rhino moves up whenever there's a rhino symbol, and it's got to sit on the rhino symbol. Sometimes that happens. It's easier when you're doing it on a table rather than holding the bottom card. So the rhino's climbing up the tower, going whenever the rhino symbols are coming. I'm going to put it down now. It's all gone everywhere. In addition, there are other things on the cards. So for example, you might have a +1, which means that the next player has to take an extra roof tile, so they have to get another card out before they can get out. So there's the rhino one again. So it says it's a rhino card, and that's where you have to put the rhino on the rhino symbol. This is a +2, which means when you put this down, you can put another tile directly on top. You can't put another +2, you have to put another of a different kind of tile. This one means that the next player misses their turn, and there's one more, which means that the direction of play changes. So if you're going clockwise, you go anti-clockwise. Can't find one of them. Don't know where that is, but there's a sort of icon that goes round in a circle. Some arrows in a circle, which says that you have to change direction. So that's Rhino Hero. Simple, quick, easy, and lots of fun. Rhino Hero. Secondly, hey, that's my fish. Hey, that's my fish. Again, very simple game. You've got all of these different fish tiles which sort of create a big iceberg. So you're going to lay them out in a grid, and it tells you what size grid, and they're all going to, so it's a hexagonal grid really. And as you can see, the tiles either have one fish or two fishes or three fishes. And when you've got your grid laid out, you can see where all the different tiles are. You can see where the two fishes, the one fishes and the three fish tiles are. And you've got a certain number of penguins. In a 3-player game, you're going to have 3 penguins. In a 2-player game, you're going to have 4 penguins. In a 4-player game, you're only going to have 2. And starting, well, it says starting with the youngest player. Starting randomly, you choose where you're going to put your penguins. And then your penguins, on your turn, you move one penguin. And they move in a straight line along the iceberg. So each penguin can move in sort of 3 different lines because it's a hexagonal grid. And you move them as far as you want to or as far as you can. You can't move over gaps, so we're going to take tiles as we progress through the game, so there's going to be gaps all around the board. You can't move over gaps, you can't go round the corner, you can't go over other penguins. So you're travelling as far as you can or want to in a certain direction, and you're stopping, and whatever tile you stop on, you take those fishes. I think you take them at the beginning of the next go, so when you leave a tile, you take the fishes. And you're collecting fishes. Person with the most fish at the end of the game wins. It's as it says, a sub-zero game of fishy strategy, which is a nice little tagline. Again, it plays quite quickly. It's different setup each time because you put the tiles in different places. Hey, that's my fish. And finally, Cash and Guns. It's quite a lot of fun to play this. The components are really excellent. Just beware if you've got a child that might get upset if somebody picks on them. You might want to just be careful with this one. It happens. So there are different, you're gangsters. Everyone is a different gangster. You're going to choose a character at the beginning or decide randomly. Each gangster comes with their own special abilities, so you get your gangster and the associated special ability card, which will benefit you as you go through the game. So you put your character, and these characters are great. Look, yes, Yoko, Mr. Black. Who else have we got? Farha or Farha. Oh, I don't know how you pronounce that. And Luca. Let's say I'm going to be Luca, right? You put your character in front of you, and then at the beginning of each round, so there are 8 rounds, you lay out 8 of these, 8? I think so, of these loot cards. So the loot cards will have different things on them. Some of them are straight up money. That's £10,000. That's 20,000. Some of them are diamonds. That's £5,000 worth of diamonds. That's £1,000 worth of diamonds. Some of them are artwork. So each one has a different artwork on it. And if you manage to get this loot at the end of the game, you're going to count up the amount of loot you manage to win. That's what's going to happen. You're competing over the loot. There's also this special card, which we'll come on to in a minute. Every player gets 8 cards at the beginning of the game. You get 3 bang cards and 5 click cards. So these are blanks, really. And so you're going to hold these cards up. And this is how each round works. First of all, you put your loot out, then you choose your bullet card secretly and put it face down. Then you get your special gun, foam gun. How cool is this? This is the main reason why I like this game, because you can hold up. Everyone gets a gun. So you have all these, so you go 3, 2, 1, and what we always do this. We always put them on our noses like this and go 3, 2, 1, and you get to decide who you're going to shoot towards. So you do this hold-up situation where you're shooting towards another player, and there might be another player shooting towards you. And so you freeze like that, and then each round someone is the godfather, symbolised by who has this desk at that particular time. And the godfather can then change the direction of one of these guns. So everyone's got a guns. There might be 8 different people shooting it in different ways. And then the godfather can go, actually, I'm going to move the direction of the one that's pointing at me and point it over there at you. Or point it at the same place as the one I'm pointing at. The godfather changes one gun, and then everyone decides how much courage they have, whether they're going to stay standing or whether they're going to lie down. So if you want to, you can then at that point lie your character down on the table, put your hand down, you know, you're not shooting anymore, so put your gun down, I give up, you lie your character down, you're not shooting, nobody can shoot you. Or you stay standing. You say, yeah, I've got courage, I'm going to stay standing. And when everybody's decided whether they're going to do that, then you reveal what your card was, whether it was a click or whether it was a bang. At that point, anyone who has been actually shot with a bang, not with a click, gets wounded. And you take one of these wounds. This is like a plaster. And if you've been shot at with a click, nothing happens. It's a blank. Yeah. I can take it. Anyone who has not been shot at and who has not lied down gets to now share the loot. That includes the desk of the godfather. Whoever was the godfather puts their desk in the mix, and that becomes now part of the loot that you can take. So all the loot cards are up on the table, starting with the person that was godfather that round, and they have this player aid. Actually, that's what they have in front of them, this godfather desk. This one's on the table. Starting with the person who was godfather, they're going to take one of the loot. The player to their left, then, who's still in. Nobody who's lied down gets any loot. Nobody who's been shot at gets any loot. Goes around the table like that. Everybody who's still in, who didn't get shot at, takes their share of loot. You move on to the next turn. One of the things you can take is the godfather desk, which means you become the godfather. You get that godfather privilege of moving one of the things, and you get the first pick of the loot. So it's simple, it's easy to learn. Make sure you play it with a really pleasant attitude and a load of fun. That's Cash and Gun.